Thank you, Chairman. This is my third term on the Oversight Committee. We've been talking about illegal immigration and oversight the entire time. I remember we had a group of this committee that went down to the El Paso section of the border. This was back in February, March of 2021. And during that time period, we were at one of the holding centers, and there were these buses that were coming to the detention facility, and they were picking up 30 kids, 50 kids at random, walking out of the facility. And when I went over to question the bus driver that was transporting these kids, border agents told me, as a member of Congress, that you're not allowed to question the bus driver. And of course, people knowing me, I didn't take no for an answer, and I repeated the question. And I was told that this bus of children was leaving El Paso and going to San Diego. And so what was occurring under the Biden administration is that they were busing unaccompanied minors all across the United States for one reason and one reason only. And that was because they did not want the press to see the pictures of kids in cages. They did not want to see our borders being overrun. They wanted to disperse that problem all through the United States. That is the reckless history of illegal immigration under Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. Mayor Johnston of Denver, yes, you lamented earlier that there were 10 to 11 buses coming per day to your city.
Damn.
Did you ever talk to Joe Biden about why this was happening to your community?
Thank you, Congressman. I both reached out to Governor Abbott from Texas. He didn't respond, and I did.
Why would you reach out to Governor Abbott of Texas when it is Joe Biden, the former commander-in-chief, that opened up our borders? Why didn't you talk to him?
Well, our buses directly were being sent from Governor Abbott in Texas, so that was why we reached out to say we're happy to collaborate on a coordinated entry system. We understand no one state or no one city should bear the entire brunt of this, but let's collaborate. But I did.
So I'm glad you said that, because that brings me to my next point. Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, when they started moving illegal aliens out of their states who were bearing the brunt of what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were doing, and they've sent them to Denver, they sent them to Chicago, they sent them to New York, they sent them to Martha's Vineyard. The reason why they did that is because you four could hide behind the realities of illegal immigration on border towns all through our country and on cities and states who did not want to see illegal immigration, but did not have the political representation to go to the White House. And only when it showed up on your doorstep did you get upset. Mayor Johnston, coming back to you.
I remember when Denver was flooded with migrants to the point to where they had to sleep in the hospitals. They were shutting down hospitals just to house migrants and help out migrants that were in need of pretty much medical assistance. And it was thousands of them. Thousands. The crisis was a crazy one. It was. All right. It was a lot of people. It was so much, hundreds of millions of people coming in, and they weren't getting really vetted. They weren't seriously getting questioned to make sure that they would actually come in and do what they have to do in the United States. They were just let in without any real check, any real background check. And a lot of them now are spread out throughout in the entire United States, and they're going to be here. They're not going to be doing anything egregious. They're going to stay low key. They're going to do what they have to do to survive and try to get their citizenship. But it was very, very interesting to see. I remember even going to my own city's airport in Boston, Terminal E. You would see a few families. You could see babies. You'll see everything. They were laid out on the floor, sleeping with their luggage. Babies, old women, men, young boys, young kids, hundreds sleeping in the airport. Terminal E. It's not even a joke. It was really happening. I have actual footage on my phone. It was really happening. And I don't blame them for taking advantage of what Biden did. I don't blame them. But I'm just saying, the way they went around it, the way they went about it, it was not slick. It was too bad. It was terrible. It was just too much. It was unorganized. And that is why now they are seeing the results of what they ended up doing. And now there's a bunch of pushback because of it too. Now, if this was happening at a slow pace, to where people didn't notice, to where people didn't have to get forced in 10 to 15 buses throughout from Texas to Boston and Chicago, if people weren't noticing that, this would not be an issue. But because people are noticing it, because it was too big to really hide, now we're addressing it.
How much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone.
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you?
1% of the overall budget over the last
That's
4
why you're a
years,
failing
which
mayor.
is the
Mayor
same
Adams,
number that
how
was
much did
sent
the
from
city of
us
New
from
York
the
actually
state
spend
of
on
Texas.
illegal immigration?
He's not. Byron's
Mayor
not
Johnson,
playing around
I already
with
asked you
Mayor
if you don't have
Johnson.
a hard number. And if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much?
Simple though. If you don't have a number, you're not running the city. You don't know the numbers. You don't know what the budget is. It's simple. He asked you a question. You should have been prepared. What's the number? Mayor Johnston knew it. I'm sure Mayor Adams knows it. I don't know if Mayor Wu knows it though.
How much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers' dollars.
$6.9
billion in New York.
dollars of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city
number.
of Boston has spent on illegal immigration.
We
Are you
don't
out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or not,
policies.
Mayor
That
Wu?
is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage your budget or
We
not?
have the numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of Boston,
budget.
just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
The city of
the
Boston
city of
is
Boston.
sick of having
I'm
people
reclaiming my
outside
time.
Boston
Mr.
telling
Bear,
us what
Mr.
we
Bear, I have
need.
a question for you because I understand Cato's perspective when it comes to illegal immigration. I understand that the Cato Institute for a long time has had a standard of actually having open immigration into the United States. Generally
Mayor
speaking,
Wu's fiery. I like that. Mayor Wu. That's you. You definitely from Boston. You didn't stand down. Boston is sick and tired of people outside of Boston telling us what to do. No disrespect to Byron, but that's Boston for you for sure.
I don't want to get into specifics.
We support legal immigration. We
Don't
want
tell us what to do in
immigration.
Boston
Well,
for
let me
real.
let me ask you this question. Because one of the great libertarians of the modern era, Milton Friedman, famously said, you can either have open borders or a welfare state, but you have to choose. Mr. Beer, what do you choose?
Milton Friedman said he wanted to allow illegal immigration to continue. I disagree with Milton Friedman's position on that. We should have legal immigration and build a wall around the welfare state, not around the country. That's in the best interest of taxpayers.
And I would argue that under the current system where you have sanctuary cities popping up, it is not possible to build that wall.
You
America
can.
has to
Absolutely you
choose,
can.
Mr. Beer, you're done. America has to choose between securing our nation or protecting the taxpayer. I choose secure the nation. I yield back.
Mic drop. Mic drop, Byron. I heard you about to be the new governor of Florida. I heard that. I'm wishing you luck. I really do. I think you're definitely a powerful leader. I think you'll be doing great over there. I think you're already doing great right now. And I love to see these mayors being held accountable in front of the people. So at least the people could see what the mayors of their states are doing. I didn't know Mayor Wu didn't know the budget, didn't know the numbers, or doesn't care for the numbers. I didn't know. So it's good for me to now see, okay, we dealing with somebody that didn't know about the budget. Same for Johnson. I know more about Johnson in Chicago than I know about my own mayor in Boston. That's sad. That's sad. So I'll be doing more research on my mayor for sure. making sure that we doing what we supposed to be doing. But Boston is an amazing city. Whether it's Democratic or Republic right now, it's an amazing city. We do have our ups and downs. We do have our problems, but I wouldn't trade Boston for Chicago for sure. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't trade Boston for Chicago. Even though I haven't been to Chicago. I've heard about Chicago. I've never been. I heard it's cold too. But I did hear Chicago is beautiful. But because of the mayor of Chicago right now, no, I'd rather be in Boston. I'm just being honest. But let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below. I'd really like to know y'all thoughts. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate y'all viewership. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if y'all are new. Until next time, man, it's your boy Dgotsauce. Peace.